Biden is now holding meetings with top lawmakers from both parties to discuss the next fourth stimulus package. The administration is also removing a few provisions from the new social spending bill, but this change could affect many Social Security recipients. Social Security provides benefits to seniors across a wide range of income levels. In fact, it's possible to have a $3 million income in retirement, but still collect Social Security. But some lawmakers may be looking to change that by imposing a system of means testing for Social Security purposes. Here's how that would work. Social Security is facing a serious financial shortfall in the not-so-distant future. Recently, its trustees projected that the program's trust funds will be out of money by 2035. Once that happens, benefit cuts will be a distinct possibility unless lawmakers manage to find a way to pump more money into Social Security. One such option to achieve that goal is means testing. Means testing is the concept of distributing benefits to retirees based on your needs. Now, there are different ways that means testing could play out. Lawmakers could decide that seniors above a certain income level might see their Social Security benefits reduced, or they might decide that higher earning seniors cannot receive Social Security at all. Social Security cannot sustain benefits at their current level if lawmakers don't find a way to address its anticipated financial shortfall. Means testing and reducing benefits for higher earners is one solution that could help solve the issue at least to some degree, but it's not the one that likely is going to be sitting well with people. And now President Biden's American Rescue Plan is perhaps the most significant legislative accomplishment in his first year and a half in office. The sweeping $1.9 trillion crisis relief bill was also at the center of debate over inflation. The White House maintains that the bill was essential to ushering in the economic recovery, and Biden recently dismissed the notion that his relief plan fueled increases in prices. In fact, economists concede that the $2 trillion bill did contribute to inflation. The crisis-related supply chain issues are major factors driving up cost. The former president also did sign 2 crisis relief bills into law, but many Americans are still waiting through their excess savings from the crisis lockdowns that saw people lose homes and spend less. Jason Furman, who served as the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, said that Americans spent some $800 billion less than normal during the crisis. And a chief economist at an analytic company estimated this week that the rescue package added around 0.1 percentage points to year-over-year inflation, well behind stocks, and caused the crisis in affordable housing crisis back then. The partisan blame game over inflation has intensified as costs, and particularly gas prices, have continued to rise, despite the Federal Reserve and top White House officials insisting late last year that inflation would be transitory. Recently, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged in an interview with CNN that she misjudged the path that inflation would take, citing unforeseen shocks to the economy. But Yellen has also defended the rescue package, which passed in March 2021 with no Republican votes, noting, as have other administration officials, that inflation is a global problem. Yellen stated that we're seeing high inflation in almost every developed country around the world, and they have very
freezing spending is probably not a good idea, except we just had a flood that cost $1 billion worth of damage in southern Montana. $1 billion worth projected. We freeze spending, that infrastructure never gets rebuilt. So I hear what you're saying, and in some aspects I agree, but it's a lot easier to talk about than it is to do. And I think that's the challenge that the chairman of the Fed has, is that he really needs to focus on what he needs to do. And if it was a simple solution, we'd already had it done. I'm concerned about rural America and the impact inflation's having on rural America. And I know that you have seen it. You've seen it transpire over the last several years, particularly as this country's come out of this pandemic. And I know we've had a conversation that it's two-edged, it's supply and it's demand, and you're only dealing with the demand part, which is an important part. And in some respects, Senator Kennedy's right. You are probably one of the strongest people in the world to be able to deal with some of this stuff. But from a rural perspective, is the Fed doing anything in particular that I could take back to my constituents and say, this is what the Fed's doing to help rein in inflation in rural areas?
Well, so we are, of course, well aware. As you know, we have 4 or 5 Reserve Bank presidents who have very large agricultural economies within their districts, and we hear excellent reports from them about what's going on, and it's clearly a tremendously challenging situation. fertilizer prices and all kinds of inputs. Very, very difficult situation. Can't get parts for your equipment and that kind of thing. So, you know, overall, we do appreciate that. You're not seeing this yet, but you know, when if times do get difficult, then we work carefully with borrowers in the Farm Belt and that kind of thing, because we know.
Thank you so much, Julissa. It is part of the reason that we are so excited about this effort. It is because it's about investing in the future of our nation. And that means investing in our future leaders and our current leaders, of which Julissa is one. So thank you, Julissa, for your leadership and your voice and your courage and your brilliance. Mr. Roundtree, her principal, I want to say that she is doing a great job, and I want to thank you for all of the young students that you are mentoring. So thank you. So it is a pleasure to be here today, and I want to thank Julissa for really pointing out how essential the internet is and how essential it is to have an internet connection, not only for the sake of their educational success, but in so many ways that is about understanding the full reality of a full human being. So it is a pleasure to be here today with also two true champions of our nation's working people. FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosen-Worcel, who has worked for years to make high-speed internet more affordable and more accessible. And thank you, Chairwoman, for your leadership. And Mitch Landrieu, our administration's infrastructure coordinator. He is passionate and he is dedicated and has lived a life of service. And I thank you, Mitch, for all that you have done on this issue and so many other issues. So I will begin with what I believe is a simple truth. In the 21st century, high-speed internet is a necessity, not a luxury, a necessity. Our world has moved online. And that is why from day one, the President and I have fought to make it easier for everyone to access and afford high-speed internet. Today, we are celebrating a major milestone in that fight. You see, during the pandemic, millions of people, families in particular, depended on high-speed internet. Young people use the internet to access digital textbooks, attend virtual classes, and collaborate on science projects, all at their kitchen table. Parents use the internet to buy groceries, paper towels, and other daily essentials. The internet allowed folks to take care of their children and get their essential needs accomplished. Business owners, like the one I met from Missouri last year, rely on the internet to coordinate.
They have very different fiscal policies.